This tutorial video is going to be on cascading style sheets, which I just love. Style sheets allow us to make our pages look cool. They allow us to put color, manage layout, control the size of elements, all kinds of things. And they are used in every big-time website. So what I have here on my browser, I've got Apple's website up. And it's a good looking website, and I opened up the source code here. So this is the source code for apple.com. Notice they're using doc type definition for the older HTML 4.01 transitional. That makes it pretty easy on them. We're going to do it the tough way with XHTML1 strict. But let's look at their code for a moment here. This is their markup. Of course, they have the head section with the title and meta tags and all that fun stuff. But look at this right down here. These two lines. They are linking in style sheets. Okay, so using this link tag in the head section of their web page, they're importing two different style sheets. One of them is called base.css, the other one is called home.css, and they are stored inside of a styles subfolder. One of them is stored in their global subfolder, and the other one is stored in their home folder. So this is pretty normal stuff here. So they're importing some style sheets. So we'll look at their style sheet perhaps another time. They're also doing this. They've got some embedded styles. Embedded styles are when you put the style rules. These are called, that's a line of style is called a rule. So that's one rule that I've got highlighted right there. So when you put rules specifically in the head section of a web page, it's called an embedded style, as opposed to this, which is a linked or imported or external style sheet. So an external style sheet references an external CSS file. Embedded styles are inside of the head section using the style tags. And of course there's also inline styles too, which you've seen me do once or twice before, and I'll do them again throughout the term. Okay, so Apple.com is definitely using some CSS. They're using external style sheets for most of this stuff, and they've also got some embedded styles for a few things. And I've also got CNN's web page up, and also so this is CNN's markup here. We can see they're also using HTML 4.01 transitional. They are also using some embedded styles. And look at this. They're also using external style sheets. They're doing it in a slightly different technique though. Instead of using the link tag, CNN is using the @import in order to import an external style sheet file. The link tag is a little bit more common, but some sites do use the @import technique. One is not better than the other, just two different ways of getting an external file, in this case an external CSS file, into your page. So we're going to test this out. Right now I have a blank web page, and here it is. My page is called Cascading Style Sheets, and I'm saving it to my desktop. And I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the body section, and I'm going to put in some markup that will allow us to format it with some CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets. Okay, Cascading Style Sheets. Cascading Style Sheets, or CSS, is a separate language that works in conjunction with HTML to affect the way elements look and sometimes behave on the browser. So if you want a headline on your page, then you use the HTML headline element to put the headline on there. If you want that headline to be blue, italicized, with a red border, then CSS will take care of that. Now to use CSS effectively, you're going to need to learn the syntax for Valid Css. And that'll be the kind of challenging thing for this video. You just started doing HTML, and you've been using tags. For instance, there's the H1 tag. And you've been using some attributes. For instance, here's the class attribute. And attributes equal some value, and the value's in quotes. So there's a syntax for HTML. Tags, attributes, and attribute values. Well, there's also a syntax for style sheets. Now for my first CSS in this demo, I'm going to put my CSS embedded in the head section. There. So when you're embedding CSS for a particular web page, then you put the style tags right in the head section, and I'm going to put it below my meta tags. The order is in the head section your title tags, then your meta tags, and then your embedded styles, or linked styles if you're doing external style sheets. Now, just to remind you what I have going here, this is what my page looks like right now. I've got plain old black text on a white background. I've got a Times New Roman font, and I've got two headlines. The fact that I used a class on my second headline called subtitle doesn't affect the browser at this point. The class attribute is going to come up time and time again, and it's used frequently with CSS. Let's start off simple. The syntax for CSS has a few terms that you need to know. CSS is involved in using what's called a selector, a property, a value. There. This is a CSS rule. A CSS rule is a line of instruction. I know I did mine on several lines, but it's still one CSS rule. A CSS rule is made up of a selector, a property, and a value, and the property and value are enclosed in curly braces. So the term tag and the term attribute does not apply to CSS. Now, a property and value together are called a declaration. So this CSS rule has one declaration. Now, for instance, I could do several declarations within one rule. Property 1, value, there. I still have one CSS rule. There is one selector. There could be more selectors though. And this rule now has three properties. Two of the properties have a single value. My third property has three different values. Three declarations. This one declaration is made up of a property and three values.